Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's today's episode of 40K Today.
Hey folks, and welcome to 40K Today. This is your daily 15-minute dose of 40K goodness. It's like your morning walk or a smoothie filled with spinach and cool models, or a healthy but fun cereal. Just a great way to start your 40K day. Today is Monday the 14th of September, and we catch up with UK superstar Mikey Herbert about making the leap and going full-time into 40K content. And our own Paul Murphy put a suit on and he streamed live, all for a good cause, and he'll tell us all about it soon. But first, it was a pretty big weekend for us 40K fans, and we have a question that we'd like your feedback on Facebook. So we're asking, how do you feel about the big reveals over the weekend? Are you excited? Or is this just all too much Space Marine stuff and not enough for everybody else? To be honest, I was expecting a lot of salt on this question, but so far, the comments are mostly pretty positive. Jason says, they knocked another reveal out of the park, something like 8 new units shown. My question is, do they actually want my money? They've been teasing us with all the new hotness for 2 months or so, and my wallet feels insulted. Give us all the things, GW. Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, a lot of us got into this hobby in the first place because of the cool models, just the aesthetic. And there are a lot of cool models coming. So head to Facebook and let us know what you think. So there was a lot of stuff going on over the weekend with the reveals and other stuff too. The massive event that is Nova wasn't happening. It's one of many COVID event casualties, but in its place, Paul Murphy and Adam Camilleri were live streaming coverage of the NOCF Digital Lounge fundraiser. What even is that? What's it all about? Why were they doing it? Paul spoke to Tanya Gates about the event.
I'm here today with the Paul Murphy, our very own Paul Murphy, and we're going to talk about a big event that he hosted over the weekend. So thank you so much for being on the show, Paul.
Hey, Tanya, good to be here.
So over the weekend, you hosted a digital lounge for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation. Do you want to briefly describe what that is for people who couldn't catch it?
Yeah, so every year the Nova Open Charitable Foundation has their kind of end of raffle, end of drive event at the Nova Open tournament, but they couldn't do it this year because, obvious reasons. Most events were canceled this year, and so they looked for a way to try to bring that digitally online, and they had an idea to host this virtual lounge. And and they asked me if I wouldn't mind doing it. And of course, one, I love talking about 40K. I love being doing live streams when we can, and I also love helping good organizations. And so rallied some buddies, and we put on this thing, and it was a really interesting thing.
I think it was a really, really fun event. I was there for a little bit in the morning, sort of interacting with the chat, and everybody was in just such a killer, awesome mood, and it was just full of positivity. Um, do you think that you could see yourself doing something like this again in the future?
I think we can and we will. Yeah, this is a little bit of like almost like a test run. And well, before I get too far off of it, I also want to mention that the culture that they have at that event is so. I mean, it's really cool. It's fun, but still driven towards the causes that they support. And that was one of the tenets that I wanted to make sure that we did, was to bring that culture and the folks that normally help out on site as much as we could into the digital virtual thing. And so the chat was just a reflection of that, and it was so neat. And then we played a couple of pre-recorded segments from the staff that's there in the lounge, on in person, and they did those videos were cool. I hope we get to show those videos again in some other capacity, because they're very, very cool. And yeah, and we brought them on live at the end. You can actually still see this up on Twitch and on YouTube. Brought them in at the end, and just really good ambassadors believing in their cause, and it translated into the chat. And I guess you saw that in the chat that you participated in.
Yeah. So the digital lounge, you guys sold, well, promoted the sale of tickets for the I guess it's a annual raffle that they do, and people can win painted armies or painted units that are painted by legendary artists.
Yeah, so these artists and painters and stuff, I mean, these are serious names that you would have heard, either from their tutorial channels, their, whatever, yeah, or just seen their work taking down golden demons and stuff. They come together every year, and they put up these awesome models, some of them from their personal collection, some of them painted just for the event, and you can buy raffle tickets for a shot at taking one of these home. I mean, these are centerpieces. These are things you could build a whole army around. These are things you could just put on your shelf and be proud of owning for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So you got to interview a few different people who helped participate. Was there anybody in particular that you thought was like the most memorable interview or segment that you sort of featured?
Well, some of the folks I'd never met before, I've been a fans of their work, or interacting with them, like Goobertown Hobbies, Duncan Rhodes, yeah, and like Oscar Lars, who's an amazing painter, and I get to speak with them about why they were involved in the project. And since this is a charity event, we're called to these things in different reasons, either because we were impacted by one of the causes that are supported here, or they know somebody, or even themselves have gone through something, and hearing those stories and what got them there it's really heartwarming, and makes you feel like you're doing something good.
Yeah, I was super blessed to be able to have a small part in this, and I'm really grateful to have been able to help out in some small way. And if people didn't get tickets this year, this event will be going on next year as well, since it is an annual thing, right?
It is, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody go out, get tickets next year. You do not want to miss out because the art available for such a small donation, it's incredible. You have to take part
Yeah,
in it.
I think the way their systems work is it's $10. I mean, the raffles are over now. Like the winners will be
Mhm.
being notified soon, for as far as I can understand. But the $10 to kick in for something towards a good cause, and then with the upside of potentially taking home, a Titan, an army, a kill team, a fully painted, pro painted kill team type. Pro painted. I don't mean like eBay pro painted. I mean like serious, you know, like
I know.
Michelangelo pro, type
Yeah, yeah.
painted.
I definitely bought a few tickets myself in the hopes that I could take home that Dave Taylor Ultramarines army because it's beautiful.
Oh, he's amazing. But there's all these just super talented people that have donated their time for this amazing cause, and it was neat to bring all that together in on a digital thing, and on Twitch, which was novel for them, and we weren't sure what to expect either. But yeah, the enthusiasm, the great comments, and then the drive, people kept us going. I think we streamed for 3.5, almost 4 hours, and we're able to deliver some cool messages from some cool people. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to be and honored to be a part of that. And thank you for your help with it.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for sort of spearheading this initiative for the NOCF. That was super awesome.
I had a great time. Hopefully we do it again.
That's the host with the most, Paul Murphy, who dressed up real nice too. Talking to 40K Today's Tanya Gates. There's more information about the Nova Open Charitable Foundation on their website, and the link to that is in our show notes. Next up, Mikey Herbert of Hellstorm Wargaming has taken the biggest plunge of all and made 40K his full-time gig. Let's talk to him about why.
Today's episode of 40K Today is brought to you by Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming is a one-stop shop for all your Warhammer hobby needs, discounted products, American-made gaming mats and terrain, and a full line of miniatures painting service and daily hobby content. And this can all be found at frontlinegaming.org.
Welcome back. The ultimate dream of many who start making 40K content, be it podcasts or streams or battle reports or whatever, is to be able to ditch the day job and do this full time. It's tough though, getting your numbers up to a point at which that's possible. One man has just taken the plunge though. Mikey Herbert of Hellstorm Wargaming is now making great 40K content for us full time. He spoke to John Damaris about why and how.
Joining us on the program today is the one and only super troll Mikey Herbert. Sorry, Mikey. I couldn't help it. From Hellstorm Wargaming. He's of the snip 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 famous I guess
Hashtag small board gang.
yes, hashtag small board gang. Perfect. So Mikey has some really, really big news. He's going full time in content production. So I thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about his journey. So my first question is, did you ever imagine that this day would come? Like, did you start out with a goal of becoming a full-time content producer?
I think that always the right attitude when you start doing YouTube is to never consider it to be becoming a job. It was a hobby when I started. That's all it was. It was me and a couple of friends, me and Elliot and Dan, just messing about, playing Warhammer either live or making a battle report and just having a laugh. And then to be able to like be in this position today, it's still crazy that like people watch my videos because I just used to just make them for friends, and now it's like, okay, there's thousands of people tuning in every month, and I still don't know why.
Oh, I can tell you why. You're entertaining, right? Like, here's the thing. The great thing about YouTube and the world that we live in today is people can find things that really resonate with them and they don't have to settle for something that doesn't. So the people that watch you are your true fans, which is great. I think that's a testament.
And I love them all.
Yes, you do. So what, tell me, was it, the boost from 9th edition? Like, what do you think got you over the hump that made you decide to finally go it out on being a full-time content producer? Like, where did that decision come from?
Well, it was actually a mixture of things. So, the fact that 9th edition came out and people are hyping the crap out of it at the minute. You can feel the community growing massive right now. It's bigger than it's ever been, as a lot of people are quite aware. Games Workshop's wallet is quite aware.
Very fair.
It's humongous, and essentially, I wouldn't say complications, but with the way the world is at the minute, with everything that's happening, it kind of like forced my hand a little bit. So essentially, I was in the UK, they had a scheme called furlough. So essentially, you are like not terminated from employment, but your employment is on hold while the government ends up paying your wages. And then whilst that was happening, essentially you don't have to work. So I was essentially able to put the amount of time I've always wanted to into the channel. And it seems to have paid off. At least it seems to, anyway. For now.
So serendipity, right? Like out of coronavirus, we can say that should not be named his name, right?
Yeah.
Out of that hardship, actually, silver lining, it gave you the time to really put the amount of work that you wanted to put into your channel, and it's you're being rewarded for that work. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So the issue I've always found is when I kind of got into the mindset of probably about 2 years ago, I was like, this could be a thing, and I'd love it to be a thing. So I just need to put the time in. But whilst you're working a full-time job, trying to maintain all your normal responsibilities and trying to run a channel at the same time, you can never put enough time in where it'll grow enough. But I've had that time in the past few months to actually do it, and it seems to have worked. So I said, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep it up. And my plans are to just keep pumping out good, great, enjoyable content with a competitive twist, but the main focus on making you laugh at home while I do it.
I mean, you guys are pretty funny. Let's be honest. Like, and I don't call you super troll lightly, right? That's
I take it as a compliment.
It's meant as one for sure. So, what would you tell aspiring content producers if their dream is to become a full-time content producer? What would be your first piece of advice?
My first piece of advice is don't get disheartened by anything. Like, there's no end. The problem is with content creation is not every video is going to stick. Not everyone is going to click on a video and it might get less views than normal, or it just might not click with anyone. And the main thing is to not worry about it and just keep propelling yourself and just think, why did that video not do well? Or why did this article or anything that you make not do well? And then how can you learn from it? It's all about motivation to just keep going, even when you feel like it's not working, because eventually it will. And I fully think that it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're making good content, you will find a pocket for yourself, and you'll find a small audience there, and it'll just keep growing.
Yeah, so I've heard other content producers sort of describe this process as finding your voice, and what that means is, you've got to find the message that you put out and the content that you put out that resonates with an audience and builds, right? But you're not going to do that without failing a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot of videos that don't land, just like you said. And if you get discouraged early, like you never get to see where you could have taken it. And I'm so proud of you, dude. Like this is a big step. I love when I see people who put in the work get rewarded for it, and you've definitely put in the work. So congratulations from all of us at 40K Today. We've been fans of yours for a long time.
Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone at home for tuning in, listening, or watching, or anything like that. It's mind-boggling that so many people watch my stuff, and I'm just always super humbled by all of it. So thank you very much to everyone listening at home as well.
You heard it here first. Thank you to everyone for supporting Hellstorm Wargaming, and we'll put a link in the show notes as always.
Thanks very much.
That's Mikey Herbert from Hellstorm. The link you need is in the show notes for this episode, or you can just Google Hellstorm Wargaming and make sure you subscribe. Okay, team, let's start singing for the model of the day.
It's the model of the day, the model of the day, the model of the day.
Today's model of the day is a Captain from the Indomitus box. It's painted by Brandon Hodgins on his Instagram. Brandon says this is his favorite model. And I tell you what, he's put a lot of love into painting it. An Imperial Fists yellow, but with the Black Templar cross on the shield. What we know for sure is this is a Son of Dawn. I love the use of red in the shading and the way the red of the base also reflects up into the robe. Brandon somehow manages to take bright colours and make the scheme overall still look grim dark. Check our Facebook and Instagram for the pictures and follow Brandon on Instagram via our show notes. If you've got a model that you want featured on the show, just hashtag it with hashtag 40K Today and we will find it and we will feature it. We'd really love you to do that for yourself, or if you know someone and you think their model should be on the show, do the same thing. Hey, that's it for today. Thank you for being part of the program, and a big thanks to our content producer, Alex Painter, our amazing social media Wonder Woman, Tanya Gates, and our technical producer, Seamus Ronan, for all their hard work in putting this program together for you. If you like the show and you'd like to help us out, man, we would just love it if you left us a review on iTunes or Facebook or somewhere. Those reviews really help people to find the show, and we're extremely grateful for every single one of them. If you could do that for us, that would just be amazing. Until tomorrow, for the 40K Today team, I'm Steve Joel, and that's what's happening in 40K Today.